want to talk to you about one of my favorite herbs, Lobelia. This is an herb that we have used so much in our family. You know the movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where he puts Windex on everything? Well, we put Lobelia oil on everything in our family. And we joke about our family when people come over because we're always like, oh, put Lobelia oil on it, put it on this, we put it on everything. I first discovered Lobelia and the magic of Lobelia when I was pregnant. I was pregnant with, I think it was my 7th baby. No, it was my 6th one because it was when I had cancer and didn't feel good. And my stomach just ached. You know, it had been stretched to oblivion for so many years and it kind of ached. And I had had an appendectomy where my appendix had burst years earlier. And I had some scarring and it kind of pulled on my stomach and my stomach just ached. And I read about Lobelia. And I read that you could take an alcohol tincture and you could put it on aching parts of your body. And so I did that and I thought the alcohol isn't that great. It's kind of cold for sore muscles and stuff like that. So I made an extract in extra virgin olive oil and put some lavender essential oil in it and I made Lobelia oil. It's what we used to call it, Lobelia, and my babies used to call it Yobelia. I need Yobelia oil on my belly because we now lovingly call it angel oil because it is sent from heaven for sure. It is the coolest stuff. Lobelia topically is terrific for helping the body to heal and helping the body feel better from aches and discomforts and just tight muscles, tensions. When I would go speak, I'd always have a nursing baby. My husband would always fly with me and we'd take our nursing baby and he would be in the hotel room and he'd rub Lobelia oil on the baby's feet or on the belly, and it always worked so well to help calm the baby down until I was able to get back to nurse our baby. It's something that we definitely used. I rubbed it on the feet of upset children and on the backs and the shoulders of my husband's tense muscles. It's just something that we have used so much. We've used it for acne scars. The interesting thing about scars for me is I had a really big appendectomy scar that I got when I was 14 and I was 27 or 28 when I started using this. And you know, I would rub the Lobelia oil on my belly and I'd rub it under my belly because I can't see down there. But when I delivered the baby and I could see my really purple Frankenstein-looking scar, it wasn't purple anymore. It had never truly healed. It was pure flesh-colored. And so I didn't have that scar show up anymore. As a matter of fact, one of our friends got in a really bad accident on his motorcycle on the LA freeway. And he was a very large guy. And he took that Lobelia oil or angel oil and he rubbed it on where his arm just split here. And he rubbed it and rubbed it and rubbed it for scars. And then he realized one day he hadn't been rubbing the back. And it looked like this little hairline scar. And down here it was very red and kind of a large scar and much bigger than where he had put the angel oil. It is really terrific for putting on bruises. Just the olive oil itself is terrific for helping with bruises to heal. If you put them on immediately when you get a wound or get hit where you know you're going to bruise, if you immediately put like some Lobelia oil or extra virgin olive oil on it, it will dramatically lessen or completely stop that blood from pooling there, causing you to have that bruise happen. We have used it for skin, for anti-aging, or just moisturizing. It is really good for the body that way. One of my favorite ways using it, other than using it for my children, was one of my friends had brought his wife in and she couldn't walk. Her feet were so swollen. She was a frail little gal who it was so painful for her to walk. And that day she got out of bed and just could not walk. So he carried her to the car and carried her into my house. And I sat down in front of her and rubbed Lobelia oil almost 20 years ago on her feet and her ankles and up her legs. And she walked out. It was dramatic for her. And with tears in her eyes, she just said, this is life-changing for me. Now, what herbs do I need to eat? And so I had to study what herbs she needed to eat. It's something as simple as that. This magic of the Lobelia oil. We just love it so much. We also know historically that Lobelia is used for asthma, bronchioles, things like that. It's called vomit weed or vomit wort because it can make you throw up. If it hits mucus in the body, you will get rid of that mucus as fast as you can and have you throw up. I remember we had some friends come over from out of town and they wanted to go to a buffet, and we went to a buffet and there was smoke and stuff going on, but the young boy, who was about 9 years old, he had asthma bad, and the dad had asthma too. And they both started having an asthma attack in the parking lot. I happened to have Lobelia because I heard you were supposed to carry it in your purse. And so this was years ago. And I carried some alcohol extracted Lobelia, and they were open to me experimenting with herbs on them, which is not really an experiment, because if it's been historically known, then someone else has done it first. So I literally gave 2 drops under the tongue of the man, and he immediately threw up, and it took him right out of the asthma attack. We gave 10 squirts to the boy. He never threw up, but it also lessened his asthma attack, and he just kind of came right out of it. It was really interesting to be able to see the difference. For some people, you can put a couple drops, and for other people, you can do squirts and squirts and squirts, and it still doesn't make you throw up if it doesn't hit the mucus in the stomach to remove the toxins out of the stomach. It is really, really well known for that, and we think, oh, throwing up. That's awful. Well, the FDA has definitely warned you about Lobelia, that it can cause nausea and help you throw up. Right, that's what it's supposed to do. Now, it doesn't always do it. There is a physician that it's called emesis, I think I'm pronouncing it right, emesis therapy. It means to induce vomiting and get the toxins out. There was a famous herbalist, his name was Samuel Thompson. He was in like the 17th and 18th century. He said that there was nothing better for disease. There were only 2 incidences that Lobelia would not work for disease: if the patient was dying and God was calling him home, or he was dying and there was no disease really in the body. He said he rarely, if ever, saw incidences where Lobelia did not heal the body, because it is about taking the toxins out of the body. He would use it as a relaxant, especially in childbirth, and as a relaxant so that you would expel the placenta better for women who have just had the baby and their placenta will not release afterwards. That is one way that physicians used it. The Native Americans would smoke it for asthma and for bronchitis. They used it for lung ailments, and they didn't eat it. They smoked it. And they didn't necessarily have it in a pipe. They had it in bowls and breathed it, the best way for it to get into the lungs. It was also used by chewing it to ease sore throats and coughs. Also externally for body aches and skin problems and sores and healing the body. It's used to expel worms, once again, and for colic in babies. So colicky babies and fussy babies can use the Lobelia with that. It's used for abscesses, and believed by not just Samuel Thompson, but used by many, many herbalists worldwide for many years as the most powerful herb. And that's why a lot of people will add Lobelia to just about anything. It doesn't seem to cause you to throw up if you are taking it with food or with other herbs. It helps to lessen that dramatically. It is used to bring people out of heat stroke traditionally. It also helps to strengthen the pituitary gland, another herb terrific for the pituitary gland, which is a master gland that helps regulate hormones and regulate all the actions in our body. It's used during convulsions as an emergency. It's one of those things that you should have in your emergency kit. Lobelia for breathing problems, for convulsions, for shock, for heat stroke, for heart problems. It is definitely one of those things that is known for strengthening and healing the lungs and to expel mucus. The interesting thing is it's also been used and proven to be effective for nicotine addiction. What happens is it has the same effect or a similar effect in the body that nicotine does without the addictive side effects. It's also used for migraines and persistent headaches. Also to help with threatened miscarriages, to relax the mom who may be upset about it. Now, if the miscarriage is imminent, then it's going to happen, but it's very well known for that. It's also great for teething for babies, to do a decoction or a tea or a tincture to rub on the gums of teething babies. It's used for infections and for earaches. We actually take that Lobelia oil and put it in the ear, and it almost immediately stops it from hurting. So it's terrific for ear infections and problems like that. With all of this going on, you know it has to be great for the nerves. It is a relaxant that helps the body relax, the muscles relax, but it doesn't last for a long period of time. And many of the ancient herbalists would add cayenne to lobelia to make the effect circulate throughout the body and that relaxant last for a longer period of time.